Have you ever seen such a ridiculous way to steal honey? In a desperate attempt to swipe some honey without getting caught, a duck disguised itself as a bee. But the moment it waddled up to the hive entrance, it spotted a little bee standing guard, laser-focused on the job. Thinking fast, the duck showed off some fancy nectar-collecting moves, and just like that, the little bee was totally fooled. Not only did the little bee invite the duck inside, but it even offered up some honey as a warm welcome. The duck gobbled it all up and still wanted more, so the little bee had no choice but to go fetch another round. Seizing the moment, the duck quietly drilled a hole in the tree trunk. Honey began streaming through a tube and steadily filled up a metal bucket sitting nearby. By the time the foraging bees returned to the hive, the little guard bee had dozed off. The queen was just about to ask what had happened when a soldier bee on patrol reported that the honey had vanished. The queen absolutely lost it and immediately stripped the little bee of its post. Heartbroken, the little bee knew there was no point in trying to explain. No one would believe it anyway. With no other option, it quietly left the hive. But then, on its way out, the little bee stumbled upon something unexpected: the missing honey. Peering through a keyhole, it finally spotted the real culprit, the duck, already gearing up to disguise itself as a bee and pull the same stunt all over again. The little bee was absolutely furious and tried to sting the duck with its stinger, but somehow managed to poke itself instead. When the duck snuck back into the hive, the little bee charged straight at it. It expected its fellow bees to jump in and help, but everyone scattered and hid, backed into a corner. The little bee was on the verge of losing the fight. Then, just when things looked bleakest, the tables turned. The little bee snatched the duck's pointy bill and flipped the script, turning the attack right back on the duck. The duck quickly realized it was in deep trouble and ran frantic laps around the tree trunk in a total panic. In the end, the duck got exactly what it deserved and the little bee made it safely back home to the hive.